What's up everybody, Tony with High Tech Check, and if you love to draw or if you're a content creator, this product is definitely going to be for you. This is the Veeq VK1200 drawing tablet, and the really cool thing about this tablet is the fact that you don't need a monitor because it has a display built right into it. It doesn't cost a ton of money like some of the other tablets do, and it works on PC and Apple. So I'm going to go ahead and show you everything that you're going to get in the box, and then we're going to go over all of its features. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here is the tablet itself. It does have some good weight to it. It's not super heavy, but it does not feel cheap. It feels pretty solid. On the back here, it does have these little rubber grips on it, so when you put your tablet down on something, it's not going to slide all over. It is surrounded by this nice aluminum. It's got a nice look to it. There's the thickness. It's not super thick either. On the sides here we have our little USB Type-C connection. Here what looks like our little HDMI, our brightness control, and our power button. As you can see, it does have a anti-glare screen protector built into it, which is really nice. It feels pretty smooth. Here we have our customizable buttons. They do have a very nice click to them. So there's 6 of those buttons. This middle one does not click. And that's pretty much it for the tablet itself. Here are the accessories. It comes with a little glove that you can put on your hand so it slides over the screen a little better. Here we have a couple felt pads that you can keep your pens in. It does come with 2 pens, which is awesome. Here we have our USB-A to USB Type-C connection. Now, as you can see, it does come with 2 different USBs. One's red and one's black. And that's if your computer doesn't have enough power to power through just the one USB. You can use a second one to give it ample power. And then again, here you have that USB Type-C connection. It comes with a little wiping cloth. Comes with a whole bunch of nibs and a little tool to take the nibs out. Here we have our little pen holder, which opens up to show where you can hold all your nibs, which is really nice. And then you also get 2 pens, which is awesome. I'll definitely take it. As you can see, you can just put your pen in there and it holds it upright into the pen holder. So the pen does have a button on it, which does have 2 different sides. There's your little nib here. It's nice and thick, so you don't have to worry about not being able to hold it. Got your little nib here, which is pressure sensitive. And the nice thing about this is it doesn't use batteries either, so there's no charging. So you just pick it up and you're ready to go. Now, in case you're wondering, the tablet doesn't have a built-in rechargeable battery, so if you want to use it, it will need to be plugged into the USB. And then here it also does come with that HDMI cable. The one end is a regular size HDMI and the other side is cut out specifically for this tablet. Okay, so I have everything all connected. I am using a Mac Studio, and if you are using a Mac, I do have a little tip for you. If you have the drivers all installed and you go into your system preferences and you see the little Veeq tablet icon right here and you open it and there's nothing in there, just go ahead and disconnect your tablet, open up the Veeq tablet app, then plug in your tablet and all the preferences should show up. I had a little issue with that and I couldn't change any of the settings, so I couldn't use the pen. So that's a little tip for you. But everything seems to be working now properly, so we'll go ahead and open up that application here. We'll start off with the pen. This, again, are the settings for the pen itself and the application. So you can change what the little buttons do on the pen here. You can see we can test the pressure of the pen. I'll go ahead and press down on the screen. The harder you press, as you can see, the heavier it detects, which is pretty cool. Now, another really cool feature about this tablet is the fact that it's not a touchscreen. So you can touch it all you want with your fingers, and this cursor won't move around, which is nice when you're drawing, because if you have your hand on the pad, you don't have to worry about it interfering with whatever you're drawing with. The only time that the cursor will interact is when you have the pen close to the screen. And as you can see, I'm not touching the screen, but the cursor is moving. And I believe it said it's up to 10 millimeters that it can detect that the pen is hovering. And now I'm touching the pad, now it's lifted off, but you can see it still moves around, which is really nice. So here we have our little drop downs to where you can tell the buttons what to do. So the back button here, we can make it click. You can do left click, right click, middle click, double click. You can do keyboard keys if you want to set your own custom keys. Here we have the tablet. You can have it do pen erase, monitor switch, navigation, back, forward, zoom in, zoom out, application, open, run. And you can, I don't know what invalid means, that you can set it back to default. And then the same with the other first button here, you can do all the same things. Now you do also have the click sensitivity, which you can switch right here. The tablet is not displaying the screen properly, so I can't go further down. But if I do change the resolution to scaled, then the pen it doesn't work properly, so I have to leave it in its default state like here. So we'll go ahead and go into mapping. As you can see here, you can rotate the screen. We have our screen mapping, which is set to display 0, and you can also calibrate it if you're having pen issues as well. Here's our function. Now the cool thing about this is the fact that you can have different commands set for different applications. So like I'm using Photoshop. If I was using something else, I could input that application in here, and when I use the application, it'll load all my preset commands for that particular application, so you can have different settings for each program you use. Here are the buttons along the side here. Again, you can have them do pretty much whatever you want. Whatever we could do with the buttons on here, you can do that with these little keys on the side, which is really nice. And as you can see, they're labeled K1 through 6. We don't have a dial for this pad, so you can't use that, but the touch gesture demo, you can't use that either because it's not a touchpad. Now Veeq does also have other size tablets as well. They also have ones that don't have built-in screens. They have ones that are larger tablets, like up to 21 inches with built-in screens if you want that too. I will be putting a link to their website, and I also will be putting a link to this tablet in case you guys want to pick this up yourself. And if you guys like me and you want to support my channel, please use those links because it helps me keep purchasing products to do reviews for you guys. And then when we go to the About Us, as you can see, there shows your version, and we can also check for an update. And that's pretty much it for the settings. Pretty simple, very easy to use. So now I'm going to go ahead and go into Photoshop and show you how that works. So here we are in Photoshop. I'm going to show you how to use the pen and the tablet with this particular program. Now the resolution of this tablet is 1080p. You can see the pixels, but it's definitely usable, especially for drawing. The other thing is, if you're just going to use this tablet and not a bigger monitor, you will have to deal with things being a little more squished. But it is a really nice feature that you don't have to use another external monitor if you don't want to. Another really nice feature is the fact that you can turn this screen off and simply draw on it like you would a tablet that doesn't have a screen if you're going to be using an external monitor. And that's nice because when you're drawing on this tablet, things can kind of get blocked by the pen and it might be a little harder to see. Whereas on a monitor, there's nothing in your way because you're not looking at the screen here, you're looking at your monitor, so it might be a little easier for you to draw. But again, if you want to use this tablet this way, you can. It does have a 11.6 inch screen, which I definitely do think is good for drawing. And again, they do have bigger tablets if that's what you want. So I did set up some of the pen features to go the way that I want, and if you want to use them, you have to have your pen close to the screen. Whereas if I click the back button here, as you can see, nothing's happening on the screen. But if I move it closer to where it recognizes and I push the button, as you can see, it switches from pen to eraser. So we'll go ahead and click on the little clone tool on the side here. As you can see, it is picking up that little clone tool, and I do have my little buttons here set up for that too. So I'll push that. You can click on a certain portion of the screen if you want, and then I can use this to clone. So we'll go ahead and pick this little portion right here, and then as you can see, I can simply just erase that like it was never there. Makes drawing so much easier. I will tell you that before I got this tablet from Veeq, I was using a touchpad, and it makes drawing pretty complicated, especially when you need to maybe take out maybe just your finger or something like that. It's not very easy to draw, whereas with a pen it makes it so much easier. So that's pretty cool. Now as far as the pen touching the screen, It does actually seem to touch where I'm actually touching on the screen. I'll go ahead and pick the little pin here. So as you can see the little dot, and if I draw on the screen, it pretty much draws exactly where the pen is touching. Now I'm right-handed, and I've seen that the closer you get to the right side of the screen here, that the calibration is just a tad bit off. But over on the left side here, it's exactly where it needs to be. So there's just a little calibration issue when you get to the right side of the screen if you're right-handed. Now, if you're left-handed, it's going to switch. The off calibration will be on the left hand of the screen. So that's just something to keep in mind. But as far as drawing goes, there really isn't any lag except for the little gap between the screen and the pen, but it's not bad at all. So here's a little close-up of the actual pen tip touching the screen. As you can see, the pen tip pretty much touches exactly where you're going to draw, and it pretty much stays there. There's only very minimal lag because there is a slight gap between the screen and the pen tip. But for the most part, it pretty much draws exactly where you want it to. And again, it's got that pressure sensitivity, so if you want to draw light, you can. Very light. So we can go from very light to a lot darker, to lighter, to very light, to hard again. So that is pretty cool. Depending on how you depending on your drawing style, you can do like super light. You don't have to change the settings in Photoshop. The pen actually does everything for you. And let's say maybe you wanted to draw some dots. You draw some very light dots if you wanted to, like freckles, or you could do them a little harder. It's pretty cool. Drawing on this pad is super smooth as well because of that matte screen protector, so you don't have to worry about anything catching. It is just pretty much drawing just like on glass. The pen also is pretty nice. It is made of all plastic, but it doesn't feel cheap, and it is really nice to hold again. And then here, if we change the brightness, that is at 100%, and you can easily see what's on the screen, even in a well-lit studio like I'm in right now. You can also use this tablet with other drawing programs as well. It doesn't just have to be Photoshop. Like I have Pixelmator Pro here. We'll go ahead and open that. And as you can see, I can still draw even with this. And it works just fine. The viewing angles on this tablet are also pretty good. I can't imagine anybody being too far away from the tablet or not really looking kind of directly at it, but pretty much from any angle that you're going to be using the tablet, you won't have any issues seeing the screen. And like I said before, you can use this tablet without even having the screen on. If you want to use a bigger monitor, like I'm using my Mac Studio monitor here, it's definitely a lot easier to see the screen and use the tablet. So I have mine hooked up. I'm going to go ahead and turn the screen off. So the screen is off now. And then as you can see, I can simply just move the cursor around on the screen. And now that I've turned this screen off on the tablet, you can see that the screen has adjusted to its normal size, so you have a lot more real estate to do some drawing now. So here we are back in Pixelmator, and as you can see, I can select the drawing tool again, and I can simply just kind of draw on my face, just like that. Much easier to see because I'm using the bigger screen here. Let's see, we have basic. We'll do the regular hard basic. See if we can like maybe give me some lipstick here. Maybe color in my eyelashes. And the cursor just kind of moves around wherever you move your pen, so you don't have to actually touch the screen. You just kind of hover a little bit, move where you need the cursor, and then press down on the screen when you're ready to apply pressure. Now for me, using the tablet just like this with a much bigger screen is a lot easier than trying to draw on the tablet. For one, you have a much bigger screen, and two, your hand and pen aren't in the way of what you're trying to draw with. On the screen here, there's nothing in my way, so I can easily see where that cursor is going to be and what it's actually drawing on versus, maybe having your hand take up too much of the screen and being in the way. So that's what works for me, but you can use it any way you want. And then if you're curious, when you do have it on a bigger screen like that, you can move the cursor pretty much anywhere you need to, so you could pretty much get to anything that you need in the screen. Even if it were all the way in the very bottom corners, as you can see, I can still select things very easily. So you don't have to worry about not being able to get to whatever you need, and you can easily move the cursor wherever it needs to be just by moving your hand. I also love the fact that it's not really big because I don't have a lot of room on my table here, and it fits just perfectly. I think it's the perfect size for you to either draw on the tablet or use the tablet to draw on a bigger screen. One thing I will tell you, if you're using this pen for long periods of time, your palm might get a little sweaty, and because of the matte screen, as you move your hand, it might get stuck a little bit. So that's where this little glove will definitely come in handy. So I'm definitely a huge fan of this tablet. It's so much easier for me to make thumbnails for my YouTube videos now, especially when I need to get really detailed with what I'm maybe getting rid of or duplicating or drawing on, because I have a nice fine tip pen. So again, I will be putting a link in the description in case you guys want to pick it up yourself. And if you guys like me and you want to support my channel, please use those links because it helps me keep purchasing products to do reviews for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that little notification bell to let you guys know when I put out new videos. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.